Hello, this is Tia, and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video reading the last two chapters of Hermitcraft Antihero. If you haven't read the other parts, you probably should, because, well, this is the end of the story, but there probably will be more. Like, I opened the door for more. I just don't know where I'm going to go with it. Like, I have ideas right now, but we'll see how this goes. But yeah, it's just a matter of, hey, get this down, make sure that it's good, and continue eventually. Should probably get started. Chapter 21. Stand down, Hermit, Campbell warned, standing beside the other guard, who was holding beat-ups with his mind. Julius could see beat-ups writhing in pain. Now, Impulse stood, stepping in front of the children as he did so, following the sound of his friend's whimpers. Let beat-ups go. Step aside and I will. Step aside and I will, the guard sneered. You know you can't stop us. When was hurting innocents ever right, Campbell? Impulse glared over at the man. How does this even fit in with your greater plan? What good will it do if the world found out what you did? Killing a defenseless child for apparently no other reason than to hurt your enemy. Rose knows what's coming for her. Rose knows what's coming for her. Stuart glowered, getting to his feet, as well fetching a sword. How were you even going to defend her from me? You don't have a weapon. I do. Impulse lifted his chin defiantly. Stuart laughed. And where is it? Stand down, and we'll make sure both of your friends here are taken care of permanently. Impulse, he'll kill you! Green cried, struggling against his restraints, gasping in pain when the headband sparked again. I'd rather die defending my friends than cowering, Impulse said firmly, raising his fists up, as if ready to lunge at the man. Julius could see a gleam in the man's eyes when he said it, and he heard it, screams and yelps of surprise in the hole as something exploded. The floor shook as Julius steadied himself. Kill the other hermits, now! Campbell ordered, realizing what was happening. Julius' eyes grew wide as both beat-ups and Green screamed. The headbands exploding as Julius leapt out of the way of the metal shards flying all directions. No! Isaac's eyes grew wide, struggling to get to beat-ups' side, who had gone limp. Julius watched as Impulse stumbled, catching himself just as Stuart lunged. Julius lunged forward, grabbing a pearl in hand as he hurled it. The spear shattered squarely in the man's back as he tackled Stuart to the ground, inches from the hermit. Get them out of here, now! Impulse didn't argue, grabbing Stuart's fallen sword, unbinding first Haley's and then Caitlin's bonds, before running over to where Isaac and beat-ups were. Julius attempted to keep Stuart down when he felt someone grab him by the collar of his uniform and yank him back. He slammed against the wall, finding a dagger to his throat as the guard who'd been in charge of beat-ups glowered down at him. You're no better than Isaac and the rest of them, boy. I knew we shouldn't have trusted you. Julius gulped, not daring to move as Stuart got to his feet. Let's help him, Campbell. Haley and Caitlin had gone over to check on Green, who was also limp. Both he and beat-ups didn't look great, but for the moment they seemed to be alive. Campbell! Julius pleaded. This isn't right. You know it. Campbell glanced over at the boy, with disappointment in his gaze. I should have known better than to trust you. Promise breaker. Finish him. Before Julius could do so much as scream, the door opened beside it. As a fireball flew through the room, hitting Stuart as he screamed, sending him flying across the room. Julius watched as someone rolled in, noticing him almost immediately. Why, hello there. Scar mused with a twinkle in his green eyes. He fired another fireball from the gas blaster, as the guard holding the boy down flew backward. Julius let out a heavy sigh of relief. Is everyone okay in here? You shouldn't be here, Campbell said darkly, now standing alone in the room, his eyes ablaze with fury as he stared at the disabled hermit holding the gas blaster. More figures appeared, revealing Caden, Blake, Caleb, and Jem behind him. Your army is gone, Jem said calmly. I suggest you surrender, or your death will be quite painful. Campbell laughed. If you killed me, YouTuber, someone will still rise to take my place. I'm not the only one you and your allies should be worry about. Julian watched as the man pulled something from his pocket. A smaller device. They pressed it. Suddenly a light appeared behind him as he smiled. I'll see you soon, Gemini. You too, Scar. Just because Julius has now betrayed me doesn't mean you're safe. As far worse assassins than him. Julius swallowed, watching the man step through, disappearing from sight, as the light vanished a moment later. What just happened? I want to know the same thing, Julius. Scar nodded, calmly, rolling into the room, heading over to where the girls were. How is he? Alive? Haley said confidently, before looking puzzled. Not sure how, though. Julius glanced over at the others, seeing Jem running toward where Beat-Ups was lying, so unconscious, but surprisingly alive as well. I think I know. Julius stepped forward, glancing over at Impulse, nodded. I did it. Impulse stood. I couldn't have done it alone. How? Haley's eyes widened, standing. Julius was right. Skids would have done whatever it took to protect me and I. Impulse paused before continuing. I wasn't going to let Stuart do that. You hardly knew me. Haley gaped. Skids would have done it in a heartbeat. No questions asked. Impulse nodded. When Gran and I were in prison before Scar found us that time, I heard Skids just before I snapped. He made me promise I would do whatever it took to protect my friends. Tears filled the girl's eyes as she nodded. He saved us. No, Julius saved us, Impulse corrected, looking over at the boy. If it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have thought about doing that. I understand what he meant now. Tears filled the hermit's eyes. Jem nudged him playfully. You were amazing. The hermit nodded, looking over at Julius, who felt a lump form in his throat. I'm sorry. What for? Scar looked over at him. You saved Green's life. He's right, Kate agreed, lowering Green's head gently after giving him some regen. If you hadn't given the Impulse time to act, those guys wouldn't have known to come here to rescue us. You saved all of us. But Julius stopped himself. And how did Green and Beat-Up survive that? I shielded them. Impulse still replied, with help. Scar grinned at that. Basically, I gave him a chance. Fortunately, we were close. I can't believe you were literally at our doorstep. Jem pulled away from her friend. I don't... Yeah. I'm sorry. I edited something and changed it, and so I forgot to remove something. Let me quick fix this mistake. Okay. Jem helped Isaac to his feet, the boy lifting Beat-Ups from the floor. I can't, Julius smirked. Gampa has a way of hiding in plain sight. Staffy has a lot of buildings. It's not that hard. Of course, Jem nodded, pulling out her communicator. I need to tell him we found you. Julius nodded, looking around the room, noticing something was missing. No, someone. Where's Stuart? What? Impulse asked, looking over to where they'd last seen him. The man was definitely gone. Where'd he go? Sick feeling filled the hermit boy, grabbing for his wings as he donned them. Who's with Tango and Liam? Just Tyler. Impulse's face went pale. But he was clearly injured. He couldn't have just... Scar insisted hopefully. Julia shook his head. Stuart's tough. Far tougher than you realize. One blast won't finish him. We need to get back. Now, Blake said firmly, nodding over to it at his cousin. Julius didn't say any more. Unsure why everyone would be so nice to him after everything he'd said and done. Perhaps they knew he didn't have much of a choice. Hermit no longer wanted him. Campbell saw him as a traitor, and now he was what he'd most feared. Sorry, I need a drink of water. You heard that. A cough. It's time to finish this. Chapter 22. The group arrived at the front of the base. As the front door opened, Julius could see a beaver standing inside its door frame, looking at them curiously. Their every expression on his face relaxing when he saw them. Julius stood just behind Scar as the disabled hermit rolled up to the beaver. Julius is with us, Scar reported to the beaver. Green and B-dubs need a place to rest. Mind if we come in, William? William nodded, stepping aside, ushering the group to come in. Julius met eyes of the beaver, who was watching him suspiciously. Julius shifted his eyes to the floor, shame gripping him with an iron grasp. Impulse rushed into the base. Julius hearing the man calling for Tango. Julius followed Scar into the storage room, looking up to see Tango stepping out of the living room, his red eyes wide with relief as the two friends tackled one another in an embrace. "You're okay?" Impulse finally asked, pulling away from his friend. "No surprises?" "Not since the rescue party went to find you," Tango chuckled, ruffling the hermit's hair playfully before spotting Julius, who had stepped into the room to allow the girls to enter, who were carrying the unconscious hermits. The bed still remained in the room, leaning against walls. "What are you doing here?" "He's with us now," Impulse said quickly, following his friend's gaze. "He bought the party enough time to rescue us." Julius nodded his head solemnly. Tango let out a sigh, shaking his head. "All right, but that doesn't mean I'm going to trust that kid anytime soon." "I wouldn't expect that of you," Julius replied. "Basically betrayed everyone at this point. Everyone I know." "What about Campbell?" Tango raised an eyebrow. "He sees Julius as a traitor," Blake said matter-of-factly, helping Haley tuck beat-ups in one of the beds. When he went to defend Impulse and defy an order, he'd already made his choice. "It's good to know you're okay," Julius replied softly, noticing Jem slipping into the living room. Perhaps to check on Liam. Julius felt something inside him squeeze, seeing the pained blue eyes so similar to that of his mother's. Why was she in so much pain? So much agony? He'd hurt her. He'd hurt Liam. All these people, and yet they hadn't kicked him out yet. Hadn't forced him to find his own way alone. He had a feeling Tango wouldn't have an issue doing that, given the chance. He'd blame him for that. Julius felt he deserved it. "I'm fine," Tango bristled. "No thanks to what you did to me." Julius nodded. "I'm sorry." Tango didn't say anything in response, but the boy looked away from him as he faced Impulse. "You look exhausted, buddy. What exactly happened back there?" "It's a long story," Impulse said reluctantly. Tango wrapped an arm around his shoulders. "You can tell me all about it. Now come on, let's give these guys some space." Tango didn't look in their direction, heading down the hall. Blake bounded after them, leaving Julius alone with the girls, Caleb, Caden, Scar, and Isaac. "So what are we going to do with you?" Caden said gently, the boy turning toward the man, who had sat down next to Korean. Scar rolled up beside the escort, looking over at the sleeping hermit. "How does Lee deserve to be thrown in prison?" Julius muttered, shaking his head, walking over to the man, checking Korean over. Caden wiped a wet bit of sweat, bead, or whatever, sweat, off Korean's forehead. Julius seen the hermit's chest rising and falling steadily. "I think you and Impulse have your work cut out for you for the next few days, if not weeks, Scar." "Yeah," Scar nodded with a frown. "I don't know what Stuart showed him, or what he did to him," Julius replied. "Even if the Korean wasn't in much pain, his nightmares might be intense for a while." "We'll be there for him," Scar assured the young man with a smile. "Been there before." Julius let out a sigh. "We really should have better rules on how to use those dead bends. They can be dangerous around here." Scar mused, rolling his chair close to the boy. "Maybe you and Tank can figure something out to stop Campbell from being able to use them." "It's not just Campbell I'm worried about," Julius admitted, still keeping his eyes on Graham. "Or Stuart." "Then what is it?" Caden frowned, his brown brows knit together with concern. "After Mr. A, RJ, and Cheryl were all captured, the group split. We all had different ideas about how to do things," Julius admitted. "I followed my father, who was friends with Theodore, but a lot of people still believed and fought for what Mr. A wanted. He didn't want to just take out Rose. He wanted to get rid of anyone who got in the way. Campbell is so focused on hurting Rose, he's failing to see the bigger picture." Julius winced. "Campbell isn't the only problem, though." "Do you know who's leading Mr. A's group, then? If it isn't him?" Caden straightened. Julius shook his head. "I don't know. Campbell wanted nothing to do with them. I never tried looking for answers. Why would I? I had everything I needed. My father, a job, a purpose. Mr. A had outdated ideas about how to save the world. I never liked a lot of his methods of doing it. This is why I admired Campbell so much. He wasn't like him. But then he started to hurt his own people, Scar pointed out. He told me Gerald was the one who made the call. Julius snapped before letting out a defeated sigh. I don't know what to believe anymore. Katie nodded, pulling out a communicator to Rose. I'll have a talk to Rose about this. She needs to know. No, let me, Julius insisted. I want to talk to her anyway. Katie tilted his head to the boy curiously before giving the young man a smile. Very well, Julius. I'll send you over to your quarters then. Julius pulled out his communicator, pausing as he looked down at it. Deactivated. What? Can Campbell do that? Scar's eyes widened. He has access to the system. Julius nodded, tossing it aside. I destroyed that. You can still use it to listen in. Very well. Caden replied, nodding over at Isaac and the girls. I'll give her a call and let her know you want to talk with her. Julius smiled weakly. Thank you. The man said nothing, disappearing into Stampy's bedroom as the door closed behind him. Julius remained standing for a long moment, noticing Scar was watching him. What do you want to talk to her about? Kate asked. The offer? Well, just Julius strained, lifting his head to the ceiling. And I've been having nightmares about my mother. Your mother? Kate frowned, cautiously stepping toward him. What happened to her? I don't know. Dad told me it was an accident, but he never told me what happened. Julius closed his eyes. With her and Skiz's hauntings, part of me wonders if there's any connection. Wait, you've seen Skiz's ghost? Scar gasped. Julius opened his eyes, seeing the hermit's mouth agape. I have, Julius nodded. For the past month, he has hardly left me alone. I keep having dreams of my mother being tortured or trapped. It's like Skiz is trying to tell me something. Haley tilted her head curiously. Maybe you should talk to Stampy about that, to see if he can give you any advice. He's been through it twice before, after all. Julius smiled at her. I'll be sure to keep that in mind when I see him. I hope you find whatever you're looking for, Caitlin said, confidence in her dark green eyes. If your mother is alive somewhere out there, she needs you. Dad told me she's gone. Julius shook his head. Your father lied to you before? Caitlin put a hand on his shoulder. Maybe he was doing it to protect you. Or her. I don't know. But if you think your answer is out there somewhere, you need to find it. Julius didn't look at her, moving his gaze to Haley. Sorry about what happened to your family. Isaac wrapped an arm around Haley, pulling into her hug as she smiled. It wasn't your fault. You didn't hurt them. My actions almost hurt you, Julius said softly, regretfully. You knew what mattered. You wouldn't let an innocent life be harmed. Caitlin gave him a hug. You're a hero, Julius. Julius pulled away from her, stepping aside to give a distance between them. I'm no hero, Caitlin. I've hurt too many people to be a hero. We'll be there if you need any help, Scar said defiantly. Sure you want to make a promise like that? Julius asked weakly, beating her in his eyes. Skiz is really haunting you. There's probably a good reason for it. Scar smiled at the young man. Julius nodded. We'll keep in touch. But I think we all need to get some rest. Couldn't agree more, Kate agreed, yawning as she grinned. You honestly not so bad. Me? Julius smirked. Yes, you. What else I'd be talking about? She teased, nudging him before walking over to her spare bed. Caden and I will keep watch, Isaac said confidently. No, you'll get some sleep too, Scar urged the boy. Help isn't far if we need it. All right, Isaac relented, smiling over at Julius. The boy found the empty bed himself. Empty bed and climbed in, and feeling a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. He knew he could trust these people. If they really wanted to hurt him, they'd done it by now. They'd do it by now. They would have done it. There we go. There we go. That makes more sense. They would have done it by now. If they really wanted to lock him up, he knew he wouldn't have stood a chance. maybe there was a benefit to all this kindness after all. He didn't have to go about it alone. No matter where he went, he would have a place to turn back to. People he could rely on. Maybe this wasn't such a bad thing after all. Maybe. Just maybe. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this story. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you in the next one. Whatever that might be. I don't know when that's going to be. But we'll see.